Siz gelemeyeceksiniz.
Hayır yani düğün, evliliğe...
Yok. Düğünde müğünde olamayacaksınız maalesef. Yani olursa.
Sarper's parents have patiently waited out their son's man whore years with the hopes of one day seeing him settle down and start his own family. But now they're being told they can't attend his wedding. That is, if there's even going to be a wedding. He didn't exactly sound too sure, did he? And someone else who isn't particularly sure right now, someone else who thinks he might have made a big mistake here, is Mark.
I stay with you for life. This is true. This I say for you.
But you convinced me to move somewhere
No, I don't
else.
stay here.
First day here, you tell me you're not staying.
So we left Sarper and Shekinah with Sarper returning from his visa appointment looking really disappointed in himself, and it caused, of course, Shekinah to begin to panic. She began to think that the worst had happened. Remember, if the K1 visa isn't granted, they've told us they will be breaking up. Neither is prepared to carry on with a long distance relationship.
They didn't let me. They didn't permit me.
You're kidding me. You have
They said
everything.
it will be unfair to let you in
Why?
for American guys because I'm too handsome.
Oh, for fuck's sake, Sarper. Does he really need to spend every waking moment of the day trying to remind the world how handsome he thinks he is? So that's it then. I guess watch out, Californians. There's going to be a wild Sarper lurking around Venice Beach and saying literally the most random things.
I got it. You know, I got K1. Better than orgasm. You know, peeing, orgasm, and K1. The three best things in this life.
Thank you for that.
Now, this news is great for both of them, and it's obvious that Shekinah is trying to cry out for joy, but it's just that the injectables in her face are stopping her from actually showing any emotion. I mean, just look at her. Nothing above her cheeks is actually moving.
I'm so happy. I've been so nervous this whole time.
Don't shake, babe. Are you ready for me? For
So we
the whole
can be
time?
together in the US.
Yay! Together in the States, where, let's not forget, none of Shekinah's friends or family actually approve of him. I don't think either of them really know what's about to hit them. Now, speaking of friends and family, the time has come for Sarper to tell his family the bad news. The good news. But the problem is, this is going to come as quite the shock to his family, because Sarper has been lying to them.
Now I have to tell my family that I am approved, but I didn't even say that I have an interview. It won't be so easy to tell them.
Sarper's super close to his family. As an only child, he's been doted on by his mum and dad for all of his life. I mean, let's not forget, when he broke the news to his family that he was thinking of maybe moving to America with Shekinah, his mum's distraught reaction really affected him. Like, that was the night that he pulled out Shekinah's hair extensions. Now, of course, it goes without saying that doesn't excuse his behaviour that night. Absolutely not. But it definitely was a factor in why his mood changed so drastically that evening. And it's perhaps for that reason, not wanting to upset his mum anymore, that he's kept the interview hidden from her. Only he can't hide this for much longer. And when we join them later on that week as they're driving to his parents' house, Shekinah is very nervous about how this news is going to be received and what it might mean if it's inevitably received badly.
Maybe your family's reaction is so bad that you decide you don't want to come. Is that a possibility?
They're over 70.
Look, it's understandable that with elderly parents, Sarper is concerned. He's worried about not being able to see them, not being able to help them in case they need anything, while he's over in the States waiting for all of his paperwork. If anything were to happen to them, I'd never forgive myself, he says. I kept the interview hidden from them because I didn't want to put any more stress on them. What if I were to have been denied? Would it have been worth putting them through all that torment, he asks? Only he hasn't been denied, and now is finally the time for him to come clean.
Şeyi biliyorsunuz zaten, K1'a başvurduğumuz zamanında biliyorsunuz.
Evet.
Onun randevusuna gittim. Sonuç onayladılar.
Sarper's dad's reaction, at least his initial reaction, is happiness. But look at his mum. Her jaw has hit the floor at the news that her baby boy will be leaving her. Now, whether or not it's to soften the impact and the blow of this news on his mum, Sarper doesn't exactly seem too optimistic himself of remaining in the States.
Ama şu anda ben sanki bunu şey gibi düşünmenizi istiyorum. Ben tatile gidiyorum 3 aylığına. Atıyorum ne evimi kiraya vermek, buradaki evimi, ne arabamı satmak.
So is this Sarper playing it down for the sake of his parents? Or is this Sarper showing that he's not actually all that committed to this move? Shekinah, of course, can't understand Turkish, but I'd be very interested to see how she might have reacted if she did understand what he said. Like, does she know that he has no intention of selling either his apartment or his car? Does she realise he's keeping backup options just in case? Well, whatever the truth, the most heartbreaking moment in all of this is when Sarper's dad asks his beloved son, how will we be able to come in 3 months' time to attend your wedding?
Siz gelemeyeceksiniz.
Hayır yani düğün, evliliğe
Yok. Düğünde müğünde olamayacaksınız maalesef. Yani olursa.
That is a heavy, heavy blow. That can't be nice for any parent, their only child, on what's meant to be the happiest day of their life. Of course a parent is going to want to share in that happiness. But they can't. They can't because they won't get a visa. This has left everyone, it's left his parents and Sarper pretty devastated. But, Sarper tells us, it's something I have to do. I know it hurts my parents, but moving to the States is a gamble that I have to take.
The only chance for this relationship of mine with Shekinah to survive, going there with her.
Now, as Sarper prepares to depart Turkey, Mina and baby Maria have left France to join Mark in New Hampshire. But already, things haven't exactly gone to plan for Mina. You see, her son, Clayton, from another relationship, has been forced to stay behind.
Unfortunately, it's a little complicated on the visa process with him, and his passport didn't arrive in time for him to come with Mina to America, so he's gonna have to stay with a family friend.
Poor kid, he's only 9 years old. How must that feel for the boy, his mum and his sister, his whole world, leaving him behind to go and start a new life in the States? Now, they say it's temporary, just until the passport application gets processed, but with no clear date in sight. Who knows how long that might be, and who knows whether or not that will impact Mina's desire to stay in the States. Like, will she be like Jasmine, or will she be like a more responsible parent?
Say, yeah, mama, you go now to USA. I hope you come back for me. You don't lose me. I say, no, never. You're my son.
That sounds gut-wrenching. Can you imagine as a parent having to put your child through that? Now, Mina tries to tell us she had no choice. She had to come. Why? Well, because if she didn't, her K1 visa would have expired, she says. So, despite it all, Mina has come with a sense of excitement. She's excited at seeing Mark again, she's excited at reuniting him with his daughter Maria, but she's also excited at the prospect of exploring a new country. But it really looks like she has a lot to learn about the States.
Et se trouve où le statue de la liberté? La statue de la liberté, ici. Ah, ok.
After the excitement, the hustle and bustle of Paris, perhaps New York might have been a better option here. I have a feeling New Hampshire is going to feel a little sleepy for Mina. But let's not forget, wealthy Mark is a pilot and he has a plan in place to try and make Mina's first day as exciting as possible. His plan? Well, he's going to be meeting them in Boston and then he's going to fly his girls home in his own aircraft. It's a lovely thought, you've got to say. It's a memorable experience she'll never forget, right? And after a lovely reunion, a heart-melting reunion where just look at how excited baby Maria is to see her dad, the three of them do eventually take to the sky.
I want to fly you home in style because I want it to be a memory you have forever.
Yeah. Don't kill me, babe.
What with a gorgeous sunset on the way home and what with landing on the airstrip right outside her new home, Mina is showing the correct level of excitement, at least for now. But all that changes when Mark takes her inside and takes her on a tour of his home.
La maison, elle est grande. Il fait partie aussi. Ça fait aussi l'espace qui est à la maison. Il y a aussi l'espace qui est à la solitude, en fait. Je dois apprendre le crochet, je crois. Je sais pas.
Remember, in Paris, most people live in apartments, so this house feels huge to her. What on earth am I going to do here in the middle of nowhere when Mark's away for work for weeks at a time, she asks. Crochet is only going to get you so far. But to put an even bigger dampener on things, Mina has also discovered something she doesn't like in Mark's house. You see, hung up on the walls all over his home are photos of Mark, his kids and his ex-wife.
J'ai trouvé la surprise dans la chambre et j'ai trouvé une photo de famille avec son ex-femme. Ah, ok.
I really hope she's not going to want him to hide his past. I hope that's not what she's saying here. Now, the photos of the kids aside, Mina's problem seems to be with the multiple images of Mark's ex. She's chosen to interpret this as a sign of disrespect for Mark. Now, the interesting thing here, the point where alarm bells are beginning to ring, is that we were also told that Mina wasn't exactly friendly towards Mark's children when they visited her in Paris. So perhaps she has a problem with all of Mark's past.
Marc, il aurait dû les enlever avant que j'arrive, par respect pour moi. Ils n'ont pas à être là, à ma présence.
As Mina makes her way round her new home, she's really not impressed. Everything's too old for my liking, she says. Which is funny considering the age of her fiancé, isn't it? You'd have thought that she liked old things. Clearly not. Like, we're beginning to see just how high maintenance she is. The walk-in closet isn't big enough. The bathroom is too dated. Mina immediately is turning her nose up at everything.
We'll get the Parisian style in here in New Hampshire.
Je need to move in the city.
All right. Give it some time.
Now, on the surface, Mina is laughing as she says she's going to redecorate and change everything. But it's not long after her tour of the house that Mina reveals her plan is actually quite different. She doesn't intend to stay in New Hampshire. Again, she tells us, it's too old for me.
I don't know. You tell me New Hampshire, I don't have the young people.
You haven't seen New Hampshire yet, so...
It's too old.
Mark's right. Mina literally just got there. She hasn't even seen the place yet, and she's already judging it. In Mark's mind, in his ideal world, the pair were going to get married, they were going to settle into that huge house, and they were going to live happily ever after. Only it seems, after just a few minutes there, Mina has an entirely different plan in mind.
I stay with you for life. This is true.
But you convinced me to move somewhere
No, I don't
else.
stay here.
First day here, you tell me you're not staying.
Mina's flipped the script, right? But where exactly does she want to go? Her intention isn't exactly clear, at least not immediately. Does she want to go back to Paris, or would she be happy in the States but in a busier city? Well, either way, she has already made up her mind. And the funny thing is, she's done so without even having a single conversation with the man who's funding her life. It feels very entitled, doesn't it?
So you stay here 1 year, 2 years, 3 years?
Maybe 6 months.
To try, not 6 months and we leave. 6 months to try.
Mina has laid down the law. Like, immediately we can see who wears the trousers in this relationship. You've got 6 months, Mark. 6 months to prove that we can be happy in New Hampshire, or else I'm out of here. Now, while I get that not everyone can be happy everywhere, there's no doubting that this conversation is happening way too quickly. Mina's come to New Hampshire with a really poor attitude. She feels like it's her role to dictate to Mark what she wants, and she expects him to jump through those hoops. Brace yourself, Mark. You're going to have a really tough time keeping this lady happy.
Tu viens aux États-Unis, je vais te rendre heureuse. Je vais pas être dans une maison où je suis pas heureuse. Je vais pas pouvoir évoluer, ni pour les enfants.
Let's just take stock for a second here, Mina. She's got a private plane, a wealthy fiancé with a giant house backing onto acres of land, And yet, she's unhappy. Mina is obviously a very difficult woman to please. She looks like someone who's used to getting her own way, and having already decided that she hates New Hampshire within an hour of being there. I'm already dreading what her future with Mark is gonna look like.